You are now listening to the A2J2 podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the A2J2 podcast, a podcast that recorded this episode 5 days ago, and we had some technical difficulties. But we did not want that to stop us from recording this podcast, add a little bit of new information since things have been, updated since then. So we've got a wide-ranging podcast for you today. The first thing we want to do, though, is we want to throw it to our correspondents who were in Augusta, Georgia this last week. Our editor, Mr. Jared Holloway, and his dad, Steve Holloway, making his A2J2 debut. They had some opinions about how the tournament was going to go. Of course, now that we're recording this the day after, we already know the outcome. But we want to give them their shine and let them make their picks. So whenever you watch this segment, just realize that this discussion was had on the Thursday that the Masters started. So keep that in mind, and we'll throw it to the Holloways.
Hey there, guys. First and foremost, thanks for tuning in to the A2J2 podcast. Second off, as you can see, I'm obviously not in a hotel room in Augusta. Went to the Masters on the Thursday round, so the first opening round of the tournament. It was a beautiful day. It started out a little rainy almost, definitely overcast. And then as the day progressed, it actually became very nice, one of the nicer days of the weekend. Obviously, Sunday being a very, pretty day. So this little segment was supposed to be with me and my dad. Unfortunately, by the time we got back to the hotel room on Thursday, we were both pretty swamped. I think his watch said that he had walked 8.5 miles, and in elevation, I think it was 150 flights of stairs. So we were pretty beat. He was not really necessarily in the mood to record a little clip. So this is coming to you pretty fresh and recent after getting back. First and foremost, I have obviously watched the end of the weekend. Congratulations to Jon Rahm. Obviously, beautiful round of golf. The biggest thing that I was looking for, I grew up watching Tiger Woods, and seeing Tiger Woods playing in the Masters is something that it's an experience that I'll never forget. It's probably, I think, my third or fourth year that I actually got to see Tiger Woods. And this year, it looked rough. I watched him come at 3. He hit a ball pretty close to where I was standing in the fairway. And as he walked up the hill, he looked fine. But then as soon as he slowed down and got a little bit closer to us, I could tell that his left leg was definitely bothering him. And I knew that going into the weekend, it was going to be an issue for him. And I mean, we saw with his withdrawal, obviously it was an issue. He wasn't playing the best golf that he could have been playing, and I mean, I think that that attributes to him getting a little bit older. That attributes to obviously the injury, and I don't think that it'll be the last that we see of Tiger Woods playing. But I think it's definitely going to hopefully teach him to take a little break. And, I think maybe set back in life a little bit. I think, he's got a son who's playing golf. His son looks very good, especially for his age. And I think if Tiger can spend some time with him and teach him, like, hey, I did these things, in life, don't do these things. Like, focus on, if you want to play golf, focus on golf. And I think that could be a great thing for Tiger and his son to bond over as Tiger gets a little bit older. Other players that I was looking at throughout the day, I spent a lot of time in Amen Corner. I love Amen Corner. 11, 12, and then 13 and 14. Being in that, it's like none other. If you've been to the Masters, it's impossible to describe. It's impossible to really say how it feels to be there. I would like to say I don't like Phil Mickelson anymore. I used to be a huge Phil Mickelson fan, not so much anymore. Big live guy now, I guess. Got a nice Masters edition with Scotty on it. This was the 2023 champion, obviously, but this came out for this year's Master. Very nice little book there. I was looking at some other golfers as well. Justin Rose, huge fan. Jordan Spieth, obviously, I'm a fan of Jordan Spieth. As I was watching the weekend, watching Kepka kind of, have the lead for a little while and then go back and forth a little bit. Kepka had a really bad final round, and it was kind of a shame to watch him drop. But I do like John Rahm. I think he's perfectly fine. I don't have anything, against John Rahm. I just like Kepka a little bit better, even though I'm pretty sure he's also a live guy. So not really huge about that. I thought that it was interesting what the Masters or PGA did with the live guys that got invited to the Masters. I think putting them with PGA pros and having live and PGA guys play together, I think was kind of interesting. I think maybe they were trying to show like, the people who stayed here, they still have it. And the people who have gone to live, maybe they've, gotten used to the newer style of golf that they play at live. So maybe they're not going to be as good on, tournament days. And I feel like that's not what we saw. I think we saw a lot of live guys honestly being better than some of the PGA guys. But I think that whole situation, I think it's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of getting used to. And I think a lot of the live guys may end up regretting that decision, or live could end up taking off and, going crazy. But yeah, again, I don't want to take up too much time on the podcast. I know the guys have a lot of things to really get into and talk about, but I definitely wanted to hop on here and just talk about the experience. The Masters is one of the most beautiful places you'll ever be. It's one of the most beautiful golf courses, if not the most beautiful. The area that it's in is fantastic. It's really not bad. There's not a whole lot going on there other than obviously the Masters. It's unlike any other experience that you can possibly have at a golf event. My next golf event that I'd love to go to is a Pebble Beach tournament. I would love to see Pebble Beach, but there's something so beautiful about the Masters. It's so simple. It's so hard to describe. If you see it on TV, it's beautiful, and you can tell how beautiful that it is, but it does not compare to just how beautiful that it is in person. And the slope of of just the course itself, the greens, you don't get that experience watching it on the TV. So if you ever have the chance to go, definitely go, even if it's on a Wednesday round or anything like that. It's beautiful not being able to take your phone in or anything like that. You really get to connect, and you get to sit, and you really get to watch these guys who are paid to play this game of golf. And if you're like me and you're watching the podcast and you play golf, it's something to like behold these guys that are playing golf, they know their game so well. And it's just a beautiful thing to see in person. Plus, I ate like 5 or 6 chicken sandwiches. They were like $2 or $3 a piece. Show me where else you can go in and get a chicken sandwich, get a beer for literally $5. There's not a place. The Masters is an experience like any other else, and I wish that I could have convinced my dad to actually film this clip with me. But like I said, after Thursday, we drove back to our hotel, and I mean we were just swamped. We were so tired, and yeah, but that happens. So never know. Maybe he'll make a little introduction at some point in time on the A2J2. But until then, you're gonna have to be stuck with me, the editor. So I'm gonna throw it back to the guys. I know it wasn't necessarily the weekend update that I was hoping to make, but some things in life don't work out the way you want them to. But I'm gonna toss it back to the guys, and thanks so much.
All right, thank you guys for your take on the Masters. Of course, now that we are the day after, we do know that John Rahm did win his first Masters, getting his first green jacket, his second major ever. Made a huge comeback on Sunday, catching up to Brooks Koepka, which is good for the PGA people because he is, of course, an LIV golfer. I think, it's absolutely masterful performance by Rahm to make that comeback. I like the little shout out he gave Zach Ertz. I don't know if I'm sure Austin saw that. Saying that Zach Ertz they're apparently good friends, texted him on Thursday and said that it looked like a walk in the park, and he told him to never do that again. And Zach Ertz said, I'm going to every tournament because it worked. Yeah. But I think that the thing that stuck out to me was seeing Tiger Woods so hobbled. It sucked to see that. Justin Rose, I don't know how true the reports are because I did see it on Barstool Sports, but they said that Justin Rose said that Tiger had to withdraw because one of the screws in his surgically repaired knee was like poking through the skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
which is you hate to see that because Tiger is like he's a god in the sport. So
he's our entire childhood.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and to add on to the Zach Ertz and the shout out for Zach Ertz, you missed the whole part with JJ Watt. I guess all three of them go golfing all the time. They're like they have a foursome. And he was saying, he said, I said golf like you're with us. Act like you're with us. Like relax. Don't golf like us after the 4-putt on the first green.
yeah,
That's freaking awesome.
He like
you gotta love that.
after that double, was it a double bogey on the opening hole in round one? It's like the first time that's happened since like the 50s that someone's double bogey the first hole of the first round and then went on to win the whole thing. So that's pretty awesome. That was cool.
Yeah, to come back and win that's amazing.
Yeah. I think the big story. I mean, I think the biggest story is Brooks Koepka, just because he had a 2-stroke lead heading into the final round and then went 3 over in the final round. But I actually think the story that really stood out to me because I was watching it on Sunday was Phil Mickelson. Like that, he went 7 under in round 4, which is his best score ever on that course. So that's just awesome doing it. I think he's 52 now. Ended up in a share of second place, even though he started the day at 1 under and was somewhere in the mid 20s. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, shout out to John Rahm. He looks a little bit like Hammonds, which is really awesome. But yeah, that was really cool. I mean, he literally like every shot he had was just it seemed like it was right down the middle of the fairway, and he was checking down his chips really well. Every putt, I mean, he was just that last day, man. He was in the zone. He smelled a little bit of weakness in Koepka, and he bounced, and he deserved it.
Koepka definitely didn't. Koepka didn't deserve the win there after it was just a choke fest. I mean, he was
round,
great the whole weekend, then just to choke it away on the last game, the last day.
You see that with golf; it's just so mental, man. You get in that slump. What was that amateur's name? Who?
Sam Bennett, I think.
Sam Bennett, yeah.
Sam Bennett, yeah.
Huge shout out to him. Kind of his coming into the scene party. I was watching the final round yesterday with my brother-in-law, and I said he's probably not going to be an amateur for much longer. So that was a cool story.
Here's the thing: he actually landed 1 stroke out of getting reinvited next year to the Masters because as an amateur, you can't make money if because he didn't bag anything in this tournament. Amateurs can't make money. The top 15 get reinvited next year, or I think the next 4 years actually, to the Masters, and he finished 1 stroke out of that. And so that kind of sucks, but it's awesome. It's still he's going to get invited to so many things. I mean, yeah, he's got it made just for the performance that he had and kind of just the image that he put on. That anybody that's really good at golf, you never know. I mean, you never know. So I thought that was cool.
Also, anytime you talk about golf, it's always a fun thing to throw out there that Rory McIlroy did in fact sign a letter of intent to play for East Tennessee State University. Of course, he didn't play there. Yeah, he went on to and still having a rather lucrative career, but we claim him. So
yeah.
But Andrew, you have anything to add?
No, I actually didn't get any chance to watch any of it. This weekend was pretty busy for me. I went up and visited Emily's family for Easter, so I was pretty much to and from different family members the whole weekend. So I didn't get a chance to watch any of it really.
I feel you.
It looked like at the beginning of the 4th round, it was going to end up being really tight because Rahm and Koepka were tied up until like the 6th hole, and then Koepka poo-pooed and Rahm went on to dominate. So
you love to see it.
Yeah.
And we'll move on to something that we all definitely witnessed. That's the NCAA women's tournament. Shouts out Caitlin Clark, absolute dog. Multiple 40-point games, the 40-point triple-double in the Elite Eight, 40 points against South Carolina to end their long win streak. We've talked about her in the group chat. She's very entertaining for the women's game, very good for the women's game. I wish that she was eligible to get drafted tonight because that would be really good for the WNBA. But, their eligibility rules say that she can't. So,
I don't think she would, even if she could, though. I think she's loving where she's at, and she's making bank doing it.
She's going to make a lot of money in the NIL too, so that does help, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Maybe she doesn't if she's eligible to do so. We do see Haley Van Lith from Louisville is transferring, so that could. What if she decided to go play at Iowa? Like after Caitlin Clark told her to shut up and look at the scoreboard, like what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. Like that'd be crazy.
Kevin Durant.
Oh yeah,
little KD energy. But before we talk about LSU, y'all go ahead and say your piece about CC.
I think you put it in a really good words there. It's she brought a lot of attention to women's college basketball, which is something that was needed. I think her rivalry with Angel Reese was awesome for the sport. You go back to the NBA days of Bird and Magic. You need that big rivalry, that butting heads and not getting along. Both great players, great talents, and on any given day, one's going to outplay the other. So I thought that was is really special. What she did throughout the postseason was special. I think it was 26, 22, 31, 41, 41, and 30 points in all respective games, setting the NCAA scoring record for the tournament for men's and women's. So that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't watch much of any women's college basketball, but I was glued to it this year. And I think that, polarizing figures like Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese and stuff really will help to bring things to the sport and have people talking about it, because there was a lot of Twitter chatter going on after the game. That's kind of what you want, because that's what's going to
Oh
bring
yeah.
attention to the sport. So yeah, I think that was awesome, and she's awesome. I'm definitely going to watch her more next year too.
We talked about it a lot last week in the lost files of the A2J2 pod. Um, just her story coming up and like not having any AAU basketball. There was girls leagues around her and playing with guys, and just you can see that in her shot progression, how she like shoots and like how she like handles the ball around people. You can tell she was playing with faster talent, and she's definitely made herself more equate to that. And I think more girls should play boys AAU basketball because it makes the game so much more entertaining when you have that. She just
Yeah.
plays at a faster pace. Her shot selection, her progression in her shot, the way like she forms it, she doesn't have that girls basketball two hand toss it in front of you and you like kick your butt out.
Yeah.
Uh, she doesn't shoot like that at all, and it looks more like a guy's form. And she's just so entertaining to watch. Touch on the Reese thing. Uh, I think it just brought more chatter to even more attention to even the game as it was going on, because it was like the number one Twitter trending thing, which is what you want in a sport too. Is
Yeah.
you had everybody talking about it on Twitter. It was talked about for like 4 days after till we recorded, and now it's died off. I haven't heard anything about any of it.
Yeah.
So
I'll agree. Like Jordan said, I don't really tune into a lot of women's sports, so I was glued to it. I I mentioned it on the Lost Files, but this I think it was the Final Four game. Who was it that Iowa played in the Final Four?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. That game was more watched than any other NBA game this season. So that kind of says a lot to where the sport's going and how far it's come. So I think Caitlin Clark, Reese, I think they're both great for the game. They had their little rivalry there. I think that was awesome. It was great to see. But Caitlin Clark can shoot the lights out, and it's just crazy to watch her play, because I mean you could see her going out there and competing against guys doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and she can shoot the lights out. She makes the right play at the right time. She can pass the ball. Very entertaining. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah.
I think it's a good point that you, Austin, Andrew, you both kind of touched on, where she played with boys at a younger age. You can really see that in her shot, how much arc and stuff she has on her shot to get over taller players. That's really going to help in the NBA or in the WNBA, because you get a little pick and roll action. You get a power forward or somebody that's maybe 6 or 7 inches taller than you, so you can still just shoot right over them. It's Steph Curry-esque, right? Like, you may be the smaller guy, but I'm going to get the ball over you one way or another. So I think you can attribute that to playing with boys at a younger age as well.
Yeah, and like we said on the Lost Files, assisted or scored on like 64% of their buckets.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not just scoring; she does a lot of that. But when she's not scoring, she's making a play. But of course, we will give some attention to LSU, who did take home the championship. Jordan said it last week. Or was it Austin? One of y'all said it last week that they didn't shoot the ball very well up
Yeah.
until that game. Like
They were like one of the worst in the NCAA tournament. Yeah.
yeah, but they got hot at the right time. Jasmine Carson giving them 22 off the bench. Kim Mulkey, who of course is a legend in the game, when she moved from Baylor, it was a big topic of discussion. It was kind of a weird thing to do because she had established something there and had players like Brittany Griner. And people kind of questioned that decision, and she, silenced those haters, but at the same time is still just unbelievably annoying. And as we all said last week, her outfits are just majorly annoying.
And
Gross.
not to mention yanking on the ref's arm or whatever that was,
Yeah.
and
Stepping out to
bumping
like
into
the
the ref,
3-point
and
line on the
yeah,
sideline. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Austin said, the thing with Angel Reese has died down quite a bit. Um, she was passionate, having the story where she transferred from Maryland, and as we all agreed, hitting a celly on an opponent is cool. It's fine. We like it, as long as you don't overdo it. And we all felt like she overdid it when you follow around for 30 seconds. I'm glad that that LSU has decided to go to the White House. That has been something that was a topic of discussion, and they said, okay, we will go, because turns out, like Jill Biden's comment about Iowa
both
coming
teams
was
should
just
go,
kind of
right?
off the cuff. Yeah, it was like kind of off the cuff. It wasn't like really that serious. She was just basically. But
Same
glad to
percent.
see that they're going to be going, and congratulations to them for being the best team in the end.
Yeah, so I think we all kind of tuned into that last game to watch Caitlin Clark, and we all kept talking about how it was a really good game. Truly, it really wasn't super competitive, like in a score aspect. I think
Mm-hmm.
we ended up going to watch the game for Caitlin Clark, and we kept the TV on because of how good LSU played. Because it was just, I mean, it was mesmerizing. The ball movement, the dishes, the shots, man, they were just all around excellent game. So props to them. I do agree. It's I didn't like Angel Reese following around Caitlin Clark. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. Besides that, I just think that it was I mean, it's kind of a dream come true when you go into a national championship and you play your best game. And I think when you were watching LSU, you're just like, man, it's crazy how good they are. And of course, Caitlin Clark and Iowa went on a run there in the third quarter. But again, LSU just we cut it to 6 or whatever, and LSU's like, no, we're just the better team, and that's just the fact. They were the better team, and
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
so yeah, props to them. And I hope to see a repeat next year with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in the championship, because
That'd
I'll
be
be sitting
awesome.
on the same couch watching the game again.
100%.
And like you said, with like the Bird and Magic thing, a good rivalry is always good for the sport. Like, a lot of people don't realize that the NBA was in a very downward trend
Hmm.
whenever Bird and Magic were really starting to butt heads. Of course, they butted heads first when Larry Bird dragged Indiana State to the championship, and they got beat by Michigan State,
Yep.
and that kind of transferred over into the pro game. That there's a huge opportunity that could happen with these two players when they come to the WNBA. Like, who's to say that even though Caitlin Clark's come out and said the right things, I have respect for Angel, yada 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 yada. Like, who's to say that this isn't just the beginning of something that's going to be very entertaining for us for years to come?
And maybe
Um,
she'll become a trash talker like Larry Bird was, because everything I've heard about Larry Bird, he was one of the biggest.
Yeah.
Great trash talker, got away with it really well. My favorite Larry Bird thing is when he came into the locker room before the 3-point contest and said, "He's trying to see who's going to finish second," and then he didn't take his warm up jacket off and just gave everybody buckets. So
I
nobody
kind
would
of want to
argue
see.
with that.
I kind of want to see them both on the same team.
That'd be wild.
I just
That
want
would
to
be
watch
wild.
the turmoil.
Yeah.
They'd end up like best friends.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like they just
They dominate the
perfectly
league.
like sync.
And they'd run the league for like 7 years.
Can you imagine them running the pick and roll?
Oh yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
But
That'd be like me and James back in the day at the CPA.
yeah. Oh man, I was way more athletic then. But we'll move on to the men's tournament. Again, we've tried to record it multiple times, but credit where credit's due. Andrew being the only one to predict the national championship game right.
This is the third time I've tried to get recognition for this. So
I know.
If
I'm
this
trying to give
audio,
it to you.
if this audio file gets corrupted in any way, I'm
It's
just
not-
saying we're not giving credit. It's done. He's
Yeah.
done. Like that's
Credit
it.
Andrew anymore.
Freeze it.
It's a sign.
Yeah, that's what
Freeze
it is.
it.
But I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's kind of old news. The San Diego State FAU game was obviously super good game. Came down to the last shot. Refs were a little iffy, but FAU couldn't box out on a free throw to save their lives. But the other game was just a completely different story. UConn continuing to UConn, kind of like you said with LSU, being able to dish the ball, make the right pass, having a guy like Adama Sanogo who's an absolute stud. They were the better team. Miami could not hit the water if they were standing in a boat in the middle of the ocean, especially in the first half, making 9 field goals. UConn showed that they were the best team, and then they just kind of reestablished that against San Diego State in the final. So props to them. They are a blue blood. Anybody who says anything different is completely wrong.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we're going to look back at this 2023 National Championship Final Four, NCAA tournament, whatever, as the tournament of the UConn Huskies because it was one of the most dominant performances of probably of all time in an NCAA tournament.
Oh yeah.
But that San Diego State Florida Atlantic game was awesome. I mean, I watched it with James. It was just like it didn't feel like it was going to be exciting at the very beginning. It looked like San Diego State was going to run away with it. Then Florida Atlantic went on a big run. It looked like they were going to run away with it for literally about 25 minutes. And then that buzzer beater happens as Lamont Butler, which again, really cool story. Said this on the Lost Files, but back in 2022, his sister got shot and killed. So it's just he said when he hit that buzzer beater against FAU, he could feel her presence with him, and I just think that's really cool. But yeah, at the end of the day, UConn was just a way better team. I mean, all around better team. Did they benefit from having a soft Final Four? Maybe, but they dominated all the way through. So every single NCAA tournament game is difficult. They probably had the easiest Final Four field maybe in the history of the Final Four, but I don't think that changes anything because they still had to get through, Gonzaga, who everybody thought was going to be something special. And I mean, they just wiped the floor with them. So they were the best team. We're all going to remember them. One of the best performances in NCAA history. So.
Yeah, to touch on it, you left out a very crucial part about that San Diego State game that I won the beer bet.
I was
We're back to
purposely
even.
doing that because I was hoping to forget about it.
Yeah, all right. Well, it was in the Lost Files. It's here again. We're back to even, everybody. The next beer bet will have to go back to a single six-pack.
Yeah, but you had to sweat that game down to the very last minute.
Not a drop of sweat. I never had lost faith.
Yeah.
And then we commented the week before that Miami was going to be like a tank rolling down a mountainside. There was nothing going to stop this team. They're more the Jamaican bobsled team than they were a tank going down a mountainside. It was a disaster. It did not go well. UConn wiped the floor. They were the best team, like you just said. It was the weakest Final Four, I would say, probably in my recollection that I can remember. We were even talking about it before recording last week about like different tournaments and remembering games and just players. I don't think we'll remember any of the other three teams that played in this year other than UConn. Yeah. And that's just the way it'll be. So just the most memorable team. They deserved it. They are a blue blood. And it's the team of the year.
Yeah.
UConn all the way. I called it from the Final Four on, so
just take your victory lap, Andrew.
Pretty good.
Take your victory lap.
But yeah, no, that San Diego State FAU game, that was a close one, and like I said, San Diego State is going to win in a close one. So, but I mean, you can't, like you guys said, you can't. UConn. This was UConn's tournament. Everybody knows it. Everybody saw it. Very impressive overall, and just dominated everyone. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys pretty much said it all. So.
And what was it that that UConn did to the Aztecs?
I don't want to say it.
We're not saying your joke. This is the third time you're joking.
I'm saying it again.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Don't do it. I'm leaving.
I'm done.
So
this is when all three of us quit the podcast because of corny dad jokes from James over there.
It's just Jay. It's just the Jay podcast.
The Jay
Hey, I've got my NASCAR hat on. I'm dadding it up over here. Okay.
I respect it.
So we'll move on. This has changed massively. Well, not massively, but changed a good deal since we talked about it last. The play-in. It starts tomorrow, which I'm very much looking forward to. Even if you don't watch a lot of NBA basketball, this is when everybody really starts to get invested in it. So the play-in does start tomorrow. Jordan, I'm going to go ahead and let you break down the play-in matchups for us.
All right, so I guess we'll just start in the Western Conference because I think the first game's probably pretty easy. The 7-8 game will go on to be the 7 seed, play the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round, will be the Lakers and the Timberwolves. I just think it's very easy because the Lakers have been playing really, really well. LeBron seems to be fully healthy. AD, it's all about effort with Anthony Davis, in my opinion. But they've got some good pieces around him. D'Angelo Russell, that Austin Reeves kid is unbelievable, man. So, yeah, and Minnesota, they're in shambles.
Yeah.
Got Rudy Gobert throwing a punch. at Kyle Anderson. You
Yeah,
got
what was that about? I mean,
Was it Jaden Daniels breaking
come
his
on.
hand, punching the
Yep.
wall? This is all in the last game of the regular season when you're about to be in the play-in tournament, and they still win. But yeah, I've got the Lakers over Minnesota, and knowing the Lakers, it'll probably be close, but they're just too good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with you. If you take a team that was literally fighting each other,
Yeah,
literally yesterday, and then you
Mhm.
take, a guy who's on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA,
right.
you're going to take the guy who's on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA. Now, I will say this, and I mentioned this to Jordan and Austin pre-show. The yesterday, when you hit a three against the Jazz's G League team, that was kind of corny.
That was
We
really
get it.
funny.
I mean, you're him. You're LeBron.
Yeah,
You're the man. But come on, dude. Like,
yeah,
and like you said, like Skip Bayless said, the king of what, the play-in tournament. So, I mean, come on, like,
I love LeBron. I think he's the GOAT.
oh,
Come
I love
on,
LeBron.
man. But
Yeah,
come on.
hey, it's the Jazz whose leading scorer was Chris Dunn.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Markkinen didn't play, Sexton didn't play, and you literally hit that shot to put your team up by double digits.
He did
It should
ball
not
out.
have been that close.
He did ball
Oh,
out.
he had a
He
great game.
8 for 14 from 3-point range,
Yeah,
which is something he's been horrible at all season long. So maybe he's hitting it at the right time. But yeah, I think that was out of pocket. I
yeah,
just
and
don't.
we might take a look back at this at the end of the. I guess they could. You got LeBron. You could win it all,
Yeah,
and say, hey, that was that moment where he
He
decided he
got
was
the
going to win
energy.
his fifth. But
yeah.
looking at it right now, on April the 10th, it's a little corny.
Mm-hmm. Who you got,
100%.
LA or Minnesota?
LA. It's LA. It's same way I picked it last week. Same way I'll pick it again. It's LA. It's not even, you can't question it. You have, in our opinion, the second best player of all time on a roster. He's you have too many stars. Timberwolves are literally falling apart. Isn't Rudy Gobert suspended for the
Yep.
game too?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's you lose one of your star pieces, and now you're falling apart. Yeah, it's not even a chance. It's Lakers.
Mhm. Andrew?
I've got the Lakers as well. I think this could be a big season and a good postseason if LeBron can pull this team to the finals and they can do something special for a team that started 2-10.
Yeah.
I mean, to have
They
the
have the best-
turnaround that they've
They have the
had.
best record in basketball since the All-Star break, which I think they made all the moves in the world. I think Rob Pelinka should be GM of the year, in my opinion,
Oh yeah,
because everything they did at the trade deadline, it wasn't a splash. It wasn't splash moves, but
No,
it who?
LeBron is the GM of that team.
Well, I mean, not true.
Let's be honest.
True.
LeBron should win the GM of the year.
LeBron did. Yeah, just put it on the
Yeah,
ballot.
he's le GM.
Yeah.
But that'll take us to
Yeah.
our next game. If you,
Yeah, we'll move on to the next one. We got the 9 seed, the Pelicans, who dropped up. Like I was telling James before, they could actually have been as high as the 6 seed, as they actually could have been the 5 seed. But the way the scores were at one point in the third quarter, had Sacramento playing the Pelicans in the first round, as the Pelicans would have been the 6th seed, which would have been awesome. But as we know, they pooped the bed. They lost to Minnesota, who is in shambles. They get to face a young, electric Oklahoma City team with absolutely no experience. Pretty sure the guy with most experience on their team is Dario Saric. So,
former
but,
Sixer, yeah.
there's not much I like about the Pelicans, to be honest. It's not that I don't hope they do well, because I do. I like Brandon Ingram's game. Never been a huge CJ McCollum guy. I think OKC just is going to have all this energy. Yeah, give me OKC in that one.
See, I like CJ McCollum. I liked him and Dame together. They just were not that's not the pairing that's going to get you where you want to be. That's not the piece that Dame needs with him.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Blazers can win the draft lottery and he can get Wemby, which would be amazing. But in this game, as we said on the Lost Files, me and Andrew were huge Thunder fans when they had that big three of Katie, Harden, and Russ. And like you said, they have no experience, but they have nothing to lose here.
Yeah, nothing.
They have one of the most electric young players in the league in SGA. This could be his coming out party. And, if you poop the bed against a T-Wolves team that is an absolute shambles, who's to say you're not going to poop the bed against a team who's young and gritty and hungry and just wants to make some noise and continue getting better for the future? And as you mentioned before, they don't even have Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
So they're only going to get better.
Mhm.
So I think SGA, I'm going to make this prediction right now. SGA is going to drop 40 points
Okay.
and they're going to win that game.
I wouldn't be surprised. Just my opinion, he should be all NBA first team. He's had that good
Yeah.
of a year. So
Yeah.
Austin
He's
was
averaging 31.4
Yep.
points or something like that.
OKC has the speed. They have the youth. I don't really care about the experience factor in this one. It might come into play in a later matchup that we'll be talking about, but I don't think experience comes into play on this one. I'm taking OKC. They have the speed. They have the shooters. I'm going them.
okay. Andrew?
I got the exact same thing.
Yep.
They've got the youth, they got the speed, the everything but experience. But like Austin said, I don't think experience really plays a factor until you get to maybe like the later rounds of the playoffs. So, and the finals. So, I've got OKC as well. So.
And can you even make an argument that the Pelicans have any playoff experience? Really,
No,
I mean,
not
besides
really.
CJ McCollum,
CJ
who's playing
McCollum,
second
Really?
fiddle.
Yeah.
So
it'd be tough to argue. So we're just gonna get the Western Conference set. We all have the same playing game for the 8 seed, which would line up the Thunder at Minnesota. This is where I think the experience really hurts Oklahoma City, playing 2 straight road games in tough atmospheres. Rudy Gobert is going to be back. I like Minnesota in that game. Size advantage goes to Minnesota. Still like Anthony Edwards a lot. So yeah, I got Minnesota in that one.
I'm glad you mentioned Anthony Edwards because he had a very interesting quote at the end of the game yesterday, where basically, to sum it up, he said, he sees a team like Milwaukee, who has a star
Yeah.
guy, but they all play together as a team. You have guys like Drew Holiday and like Chris Middleton who can make that team even better, and he wants to be somewhere. So how much longer is he going to be in Minnesota? That's a question you have to ask yourself going forward.
exactly.
Why would you want to sign there? But I'm with you though. Anthony Edwards is a special talent. There's a reason that he was the number 1 overall pick. He's
Mhm.
fun to watch. He's freakishly athletic. He can jump out the gym. He can shoot.
And for
He can
some
play
reason, he went to
defense.
Georgia. I don't
For
know.
some reason, he went to Georgia, even though they are a terrible basketball school. He just stuck with his hometown, which you gotta give him a little bit of credit for. There, he could have
Yeah.
easily tried to go win one at Carolina or Duke, Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think that at the end of the day, Kevin Garnett had a very interesting tweet, which was the most Kevin Garnett tweet ever. He basically said that he's like, I like a team that gets into a little squabble. Going forward, this is just going to make them better. So I have the T-Wolves too.
I don't hate it either, as long as it's. We know Rudy Gobert is kind of a drama queen, so
Yeah.
he probably had a little temper tantrum. He'll get over it, so I think it'll be fine. Yeah, Austin, who you got? OKC or Minnesota?
I'm going Minnesota, and it's the Rudy Gobert effect. It's just he's
Yeah.
back. He's got size, just like in the Lost Files. Lost Files. I had COVID while we were filming it, and I didn't really have a voice. I was breathing into my mic. I was basically Rudy Gobert.
I did call you that. Yeah, I did call you that.
Caught me off
I'm
guard.
gonna go with my COVID brother, and we're gonna ride. We're gonna
Super
ride into that 8 seed matchup.
Super spreader Rudy over there.
Yeah.
Andrew, what you got, buddy?
I think you said it was it would have been Timberwolves and OKC, right?
Yep. Minnesota. And
I think
OKC.
I'm gonna be the one outlier here. I think I'm gonna go OKC.
I
I
like
think
On
I
any
think
given night, it could happen.
yeah.
I'd love
I
that.
just think
I'd
the
love that.
division that the team's going through, the Rudy Gobert punch. Emotions are high, but I think emotions get even hotter whenever you got the playoffs involved, and you're going home if you don't win. So,
Right.
I think that's gonna divide, and I think SGA is gonna have an amazing series, and he's gonna carry him on one more round.
I'd love to see it. I definitely love to see it. So yeah, want to just jump right into the first round? We're just
Do you
kind of
want
the
to
way out.
let's do Eastern Conference first.
Okay, we'll yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, we didn't even do the play-in tournament
Yeah.
there. Been focused on the Western Conference so much lately because there was so much like drama up and down
Yeah,
the
oh,
line
yeah.
there from
Yeah.
5 to 10. Anyways, yeah, you're right. So let's go 7 and 8. 7 is the Miami Heat. 8 is the Atlanta Hawks. Said this in the Lost Files. I think experience plays. You got playoff Jimmy Butler. It's just too tough for me. I've got Miami. I just don't think Atlanta's that good. I think Trae Young's overrated. I think John Collins is overrated. Clint Capella decides to show up like 11 times per season, so that's cool. So yeah, I've got Miami. I just think they're the better team by a large margin, honestly.
Yeah, I think the best player on that Hawks team is DeJounte Murray.
For sure.
I think that I don't like Trae Young. I mean, and part of that is because he sent the Sixers home a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
whenever Ben Simmons was afraid of the basket. And John Collins, that meteoric drop off since Murray got there.
Big time.
not a bad team, can get hot, have shown that they can get hot at the right time. But how about Udonis Haslem yesterday?
Oh man.
Huge game in
Oh man.
his last regular season game ever. Happy for that
Yeah,
guy because
yeah,
he's
that
been
was-
there like since we were like in utero in our mom's bellies. Pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
he's been there forever.
2000. I remember playing NBA Live 2006 and having him on the Miami roster.
Y'all see him just straight up wet that three from like
Yeah.
the top. Like, oh my gosh, dude.
And also as somebody who is a Sixers fan and misses Jimmy Butler very much, got love for Jimmy Butler. He went and got his bag.
Mhm.
Almost won a title, just ran into LeBron a couple of years ago. I got the Heat.
Yep. Austin?
And filming this whole episode just feels like a long take of Groundhog's Day because it's like
Yeah.
I've just heard all these takes
Yeah,
this
yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
time. We've discussed previously this is an anti Trey Young podcast, even though he looks just like our editor from the forehead down. And I want our editor we need to send him this image. It was sent over our group chat. Somebody's got to send that image to him so he can
I'm
pop it
not
on the
doing it. I
screen.
sent it to the
I wanna-
group chat. I'm not sending that to Jared. I'm not
I want
doing
a side by side of just the forehead down, Jared.
Hey, at least it's still better than what Andrew sends to the group chat, and we're just gonna leave that there.
That's for another time. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna ride Miami.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I just it's an anti Trey Young podcast here. I think they just got too much experience down there. That's where I said I was gonna have experience taking over is
Mhm.
gonna take it, and I know the Atlantic can get hot, but I think experience takes that over.
Sure thing. Andrew, what you got in that one? Atlanta and Miami.
I've got Atlanta, actually. I think Trae Young's going to get hot. I think Clint Capella's going to show up, and I think they're gonna hold off Jimmy.
He showed up.
Yes, it's about that
Does he have
time,
to
you know.
show up- Does he have to show up before or after he edits his podcast?
Okay.
All right, so you guys
Jared, I'm
landed.
not for this. I love you. I'm sorry.
All right, we'll move on to the second game, which I think is going to be the best, most evenly matched game in the play-in tournament. The Toronto Raptors, the Chicago Bulls. I just think that it comes down to star power. I love me some Pascal Siakam, I really do. But when you look at Chicago, I just have to go with Chicago. I mean, DeRozan, he's so good in the postseason, and I just something's just telling me Chicago. To be honest, I'm not really sure exactly what it is. Maybe I'm just not that impressed with Toronto this season. Don't get me wrong. I think this could go either way. I think the spread's sitting at 2.5, and I think that's dead on because it's just a coin flip. But I'm going to go Chicago to move on in that one.
Yeah. And to go back to what I said in the Lost Files, I'm taking the playoff experience with Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet. That they won a championship before. They don't have Kawhi to carry them. They're obviously not that good, but they are good enough to beat the Bulls. I truly think that they are.
They're a good defensive team too. So
They are the Bulls have Zach LaVine. They have DeMar DeRozan. They have the Vucevic. So they could definitely win this game. It's going to be a dead even game, but I just think that who's home in this game?
it's Toronto.
I think that'll play. I thought so. I think that'll play a little bit of a part because that crowd can be rocking, especially during playoff time. And I think that'll be the difference in this game.
Maybe it'll come down to another boink buzzer shot. Well, Kawhi's not there anymore. Sorry, James, to bring that up. And
That was just uncalled for.
Austin, what you got in this one?
The Drake effect. It's gonna be my call on this. And you're thinking it's because Drake is supporting him. No, I'm bashing James for making us have to watch, if he does move them on farther than this, have Drake on the sidelines of a basketball game for more than just one game here. Drake supporting a team, I need them to lose. So we're gonna go Chicago. We're gonna go DeMar. He's star power, like you said, and they're gonna take him past Siakam.
Yeah. Andrew?
I don't understand what the hate on Drake's about, but I think Drake's going to be there a little longer. I've got the Raptors. I think Van Fleet gets hot at the right time. Him and Siakam have been there before, and they're 29, so both of them I think are 29. So I think they're going to want to get there as soon as possible and make a deep run. So
Sure. Well, like I said, I think that's going to be one of the best, probably the best playing game, at least of the first round. But so we have two different ones. So I'll go first, and then Austin, I'll let you follow me up since me and you have Chicago going through. Chicago versus Atlanta. Again, this is an anti-Trey Young podcast. And I love DeMar DeRozan. I think that Chicago, I mean, they were literally one game worse than Atlanta this year. It's not like there's a huge jump there. I think the only thing that could make this a little different, that could make this tough for Chicago, is the Atlanta fans. That stadium can get raucous, it can get crazy. So, but I have to ride Chicago. I've got Chicago over Atlanta for the 8 seed. Austin, what do you got? Chicago or Atlanta?
I'm right on board with you. We need Trey Young to lose so he can have more time to edit the podcast. So we're going to Chicago, and we're going to make it an I-94 battle up in Milwaukee for Chicago Milwaukee right there, the little I-94 rivalry, which is pretty entertaining. If you guys didn't know, it's normally $20 to park at Miller Park. Sorry, AmFam Field. But when the Cubs come, it's immediately 30. It's just it's a beautiful thing. It's just only if you have Illinois license plate. So screw Chicago, and yeah, we'll see him in the next round.
We'll get to that one in a minute, but we'll go to so Austin, or Andrew, you actually have Atlanta winning against Miami, so you have Miami versus Toronto for the 8 seed. Who do you have in that one? Miami or Toronto? This game would be in Miami.
If I have Toronto winning,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got Miami losing, they play Miami. Toronto and Miami play. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
All right. I'm still trying to learn the whole play-in
you're good.
thing.
It's just the winner of the 7-8 gets the 7 seed, and then the loser of that game plays the winner of the other one for the 8 seed.
And I definitely fully understood this in the Lost Files last week. I was in no way confused at all. So
Yeah, none. 0.
I actually popped up a picture of it so that I would look more smart on how I was understanding how the bracket worked. So it's on the side of my screen.
All right, but yeah, I've got Toronto again. I think Van Fleet and Siakam both. I think they can. Siakam's averaging close to 25 points a game. I think he's in the top 20 of the league this year. So, and like I said before, Van Fleet can get hot at the right times. I know that watching that Warriors series a couple years ago. So I think he'll continue to get hot, and I've got them again. So.
James, you had Toronto winning, and then you had the Atlanta fighting John Collins losing against Miami. So you've got Atlanta and Toronto.
So I'm glad you said that about John Collins. It depends which John Collins shows up to this game. If John Collins from a couple of years ago shows up to this game, then I like the Hawks. If John Collins that scored 6 points and made one field goal a couple of weeks ago shows up, I don't. I like the Raptors. So. And you also said that about the fans. It can get raucous there, but that depends. We need to look up and see if there's a Braves game in Atlanta that night because more fans will be there.
That's very true.
But as much as I hate to do it, I have the Hawks. I have the Hawks winning that game, which doesn't hurt my feelings too bad because that would put them at the 8 seed, right?
Yes.
And we can watch them get doo-dooed on.
Yeah, they would get the Milwaukee Bucks.
Which would not hurt my feelings at all. So I'll take the Hawks. To make the 8 seed.
So interestingly enough, go ahead.
I was gonna say that rounds out the play-in tournament, right?
Yeah.
But how about let's take a break right here, and we will get back in it, and we will do a full prediction. This is gonna get tricky since we all have different.
No, we don't. Interestingly enough, like I was gonna say, the only two people that have the same playoffs as of right now, as of predictions, you know who? Me and Austin.
Yeah.
Why do we agree on everything? This is ridiculous.
It's funny.
Everything has changed.
Again, I say when football season starts back, that will go away.
Oh yeah, that's gonna flip real quick.
But we'll make those predictions.
And then we disagree hard. So
yeah, we agree on all the small things, and then the big things come up, and we're just throwing stuff at each other. So
exactly.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody on the other side of the break, and we will all make our predictions for the NBA playoffs.
Yep.
All right. So we will go ahead and pick up from our break and go ahead and make our predictions. See how many of these things can stick. Obviously, some of these are just completely subject to change, but 1 through 6 is not. So it'll be interesting to take a look back at this. Jordan, I'm going to go ahead and let you take the lead on this again.
All right, so I think this time we're going to start with the Eastern Conference, and there's one main reason. In the Lost Files, Andrew picked, was it Toronto as your sleeper? And I told you, if Toronto beats Milwaukee in the first round of the playoffs, I would literally buy you a brewery. So that's just going on top of our beer bet. So I want to see if you stick with that. I have Milwaukee and Chicago in mine. I think Chicago's going to steal a game. Honestly, maybe two, but Milwaukee's just too good. I mean, I think they're the best team in the NBA. Chicago has the talent. DeRozan has the ability. Levine has the ability to drop 40 on any given night and steal a game. Wouldn't be surprised if it was in four. I'm going to go in five. Give me Milwaukee in 5 games. Austin, what do you think?
I'm going Milwaukee in 4.
I
I'm
figured
just
you
saying,
might.
clean sweep. Hopefully, Chris Middleton's healthy. I know that right knee's still sore. I mean, he's just been. They posted a picture for like the 2023 playoff picture, and it's like the team, and it's like everybody's regular, and then Chris Middleton's like a ghost face in the background. If something hasn't been more relevant to that team this year, Chris
Yeah.
Middleton has not been around. So hopefully he's fully healthy, so they have the full squad. But that team's clicking on all cylinders. I think it's 4-0.
And they have the best player in the NBA.
Yeah,
I
this is
don't want to
also
hear an argument. Giannis is the best.
I'm
in
not
the
going to
NBA.
argue that. I
Yeah.
don't think that. I think that you can make an argument for Embiid as MVP, but I don't think
Good.
he's the
No,
best
for
player in the
MVP.
NBA.
He's MVP 110%. But yeah.
he's also a part owner of this, which is pretty amazing. And just a quick point: Saturday they had a giveaway to the first 30,000 fans down at Miller, sold out crowd. It was Brewers basketball jersey, Giannis, and it was Brew Crew on the front, but it was like the light blue like City's team uniform.
That's so
They're going for like 130 on eBay right now. It's just ridiculous. It was a free gift.
Austin,
would've
didn't you get a free Giannis jersey from somebody?
I did from you, and then when they won the championship, I was in a riot of people jumping up and down drunk, and the whole back of it got torn. So,
You know what? Worth it.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was extremely worth it. So
So I have the Hawks and
yeah.
the
So yeah,
Bucks.
you have the Hawks and the Bucks. Yeah.
I think Middleton's absence will be felt a little bit if he can't go, and by that I mean the Hawks will win one. I'll take the Bucks in 5 as well. I don't think that it's going to get anywhere close to past that. Trae Young probably, if they win one, he's going to have a huge game, and then he's going to get clamped. So I'll take the Bucks in 5.
Andrew, you've got your darling Toronto Raptors up against the Milwaukee Bucks. So what do you think about that?
Dude, this sucks. Like, really, this is pretty tragic. Because I did have the Raptors as a sleeper pick, but going into the first round against the Bucks, I just feel like that's destined for failure. And I don't think Giannis, right now where he's at, I don't see there's any way possible that he goes down in the first round. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm gonna have to disagree with myself, and I've got the Bucks in I'd say 5 games.
Yeah. Well, you're not exactly disagreeing with yourself because you're calling them a sleeper for a reason, and that's because they're not a favorite, right? Like
Yeah.
it's something that it could happen, and you'd be a little surprised, but it wouldn't be like blow you out of the water surprise. So
Yeah.
we'll move on to the 4-5 matchup, which I think is going to be a heck of a series. It's Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks.
Dude, I'm so ready for this one.
That's such
gonna
a
be
good
awesome.
series. Give me some Donovan Mitchell. Give me some Evan Mobley. Give me some Julius Randle, some Jalen Brunson. It's going to be fun. Both of these teams are kind of right on schedule because we all kind of saw them coming, and Cleveland making the big move to get Donovan Mitchell, and he drops, what was it, 72 or something earlier
like
this
that.
season.
Something like that,
It's
yeah.
just ridiculous, man. And I always, whenever you have a matchup like this, which feels almost dead even on paper, I lean towards the superstar power, and I don't believe in Julius Randle. I'm a big Kentucky guy. I've never been a huge Julius Randle guy. I believe in Donovan Mitchell. I've got Cleveland in 7 back at home. I think it's going to be probably the best series in Eastern or Western Conference in the first round. But I've got Cleveland in 7.
I love me some Donovan Mitchell, and you're 100% right. This is just a straight up coin flip matchup where I lean not to star power on that. I'm going to lean to who's got the last home court.
Yeah.
And that's why I lead to Cleveland. Cleveland in 7. You just got your home energy. I think it'll be tied going into that, and see a good slugfest game. Love that.
Sure. Yeah.
I've got the Cavs in 6. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be far and away the best player on the court. I'm glad he got out of Utah.
Yeah.
I do not like the Jazz. They're just very unlikable. Happy he got out of there. So I'll take the Cavs in 6, and I think Donovan Mitchell reminds everybody how good he is.
Um, I hate my pick here because I want to see New York do good. I really do.
Yeah.
And I like Jalen Brunson. I really like what he's done this year. And
He was done wrong in Dallas, so I'm glad to see him thriving in New York.
Yeah,
yep,
he's in the playoffs and they're sitting at home.
Right.
yeah. But at the same time, the Knicks, they really kind of fumbled the bag. I mean, they had Mitchell primed and ready. I mean, he was ready for New York, and they fumbled it. And I feel like
He's
it's just
from there.
destiny. Yeah,
he's from
I
there.
feel like it's just destiny for them for it to come full circle. I think Donovan Mitchell's going to have a great series, and I think he's gonna carry the Cavs, and I think he's gonna show him he should have been the guy. But
Yeah. Also, a note about this series: with 5 games left in the regular season, Cleveland was only 1 game ahead of New York. They were both fumbling for that 4 and 5 spot. Cleveland finished 4 games ahead of New York. New York has been on a downswing as of late, so that's kind of another reason why I'm kind of leaning towards Cleveland.
yeah.
The next is the
Oh,
3-6 matchup, which I think. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say Cleveland in 6.
Okay, Cleveland at 6. Okay.
Yeah.
The next matchup I think is one of the most, you know, not you got it's not going to be a close matchup. James, I'm going to let you start it off. I'm not even going to make my pick yet because this is your squad. It's Philadelphia and Brooklyn. Brooklyn, honestly, the young players and the trade picks that they got kind of did pretty well down the stretch, but they really benefited from having Kyrie and KD early in the season, got them in a playoff position. Who do you got, James?
I mean, I'm going to take the Sixers,
Mm,
but they won't make it easy. I think that it'll be closer than you think it will be. I think I love Mikal Bridges. Big fan of his game. Liked him when he was playing with the Suns. Hate to see him playing on the same team as Ben Simmons, even though Ben Simmons won't be playing because he's a huge baby and he's scared of
yeah,
playing basketball.
yeah,
But I think there's going to be a couple of Mikal Bridges games in this series where he's like, "Hey, y'all shouldn't have traded me on draft night." He's from the area, went to Villanova, grew up a Sixers fan. His mom worked in the front office for the Sixers. They were both really excited whenever he got drafted, and they traded him away, which I hated. I think he's going to have a couple big games, but I think the Sixers will take it. But they're going to take it in 6. I think it's going to be a fairly decent matchup.
hmm I so obviously I think Philadelphia's going to win. I think they're going to sweep Brooklyn, and the main reason is I don't think anybody can stop Embiid on that team. I just don't see it. I don't see they don't have the size and they don't have the athleticism to come out and guard him because we all know he can drain threes. He's going to get his fouls. He's going to make foul shots. I think Embiid's going to average somewhere between 35 and 40 in this series and have a field day. It's just a really really good matchup for Joel Embiid. So. Um, Brooklyn, I actually like the pieces they got. Having to everything kind of fell apart with Harden, KD, and Kyrie. But where they're at now, I mean, you kind of just say, well, that big three failed, but I'm kind of okay with where I'm at right now. But they're not ready to compete with Philadelphia, so I got Philadelphia in 4. So yeah,
I think it's more just James fearing. It's James watching Philadelphia teams just get there and then choke. It's just I've been there. I've been with you. Your fear is too high on this one. I don't have any lack of confidence in the Philadelphia 76ers here. And are you covering your ears because you don't want to hear me be
No, I can
confident?
hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. I thought it was like he doesn't want a repeat of the Eagles season over here. Just I don't think anybody stops Embiid. I have Sixers in 4 sweep.
yep. Yeah.
I think this Nets team is very streaky. If you look at their schedule overall, they've been very streaky. Yes, they've won several in a row, but they've also lost several in a row on multiple occasions. So I think they're due for a loss streak, and this Philadelphia is just too good. Embiid's too good. I mean MVP all day. That's my vote. But yeah, I've got Philly in 5. I think they'll lose one, but other than that, it's all Embiid, all Philly.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll move on to the last first round of Eastern Conference games, which 3 of us have as Boston and Miami. Andrew, you have it as Boston and Atlanta. Since you're the oddball with a different team, I'll let you go first.
Should've just
Boston
said
is the
oddball.
2 seed, and Atlanta would be going to Boston. Who you got?
I've got Boston.
Yeah.
I don't think this one's going to be close. I think Boston's got to start off strong if they want another finals appearance, and they're due for a finals win. I think Trae Young, yes, he'll be a threat, but I think their defense, they'll be able to clamp him, and I've got Boston in 4.
So I've got the rest of us have Boston and Miami. I actually think this is sneakily going to be a really good series. I'm really looking forward to it. I think Boston is the superior team, but there's just something about Miami when they get into the playoffs. It's not even with when they had LeBron, it was before that and after that. They just always seem to make some noise. I think they're going to shock Boston and win a game in Boston, one of the first two. They're going to take a game at home, but then Boston's going to win the last two because they're just the far superior team. So I've got Boston in 6. But I actually think it's going to be a really, really good series. Miami's going to put up a heck of a battle. Jimmy Butler, still one of the best defenders in the NBA, is going to be going up against Jason Tatum. So I think it's going to be a big series for Jaylen Brown. We'll see how he responds. Give me Boston in 6.
And it's already a rivalry too. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been a rivalry since the LeBron days. So, but yeah, go ahead, James. Sorry.
Jason Tatum is obviously the guy for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown is his number 2. Derek White does not get enough love. He is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. I think that he's a big key to them and their playoff success. We saw Grant Williams get hot for them in the playoffs last year, and I think Derek White is due for a run like that. Now, like I said, I love Jimmy Butler. I think that he's due to have a good game or two, probably play well throughout the course of this series. But I think that his star power can only get them one win. So I've got the Celtics in 5.
Austin? Yeah, Boston or
I'm Boston. You can't stop them. They were the team all year until Milwaukee got everybody back and just started lighting it up and took over the 1 seed. They're just a great all around team. I just think they might lose one. I think Jimmy Butler can carry you in one big game, squeak one away. So I'm think I'm gonna go Celtics in 5.
Okay. So that sets up the first round of the Eastern Conference. So we'll slide over to the Western Conference where the first round matchup, we all have Minnesota except for Andrew, who's got Oklahoma City against Denver. So Andrew, we'll let you slide in first. Oklahoma City, the 8 seed against the Denver Nuggets, number 1.
Dude, I don't know. Like I said with James, I don't know if it's just reminiscent on old times, but I really want to pull for OKC. And I mean, the Nuggets haven't proven themselves in the playoffs. They dominate all season long, and then
they've proven them. You're really gonna pick Oklahoma City over Denver,
dude?
I mean,
I really want to do it. I really do.
And you talk about Denver not proving themselves. Dario Saric is the guy with the most playoff experience for Oklahoma.
But they're young and they've got what the 4th best scorer in the league right now. They're young. They can run up and down the court. They're not going to get tired. They're going to outrun these guys. Give me OKC in 7.
Oh my God. You must be smoking something that's very illegal around here.
We took a long break. We did take a long break. It's kind of funny. He was the last one back to the camera.
Look, I respect it because I want an upset. I enjoy it, whatever. I've got the rest of us have Denver and Minnesota. Minnesota's falling apart. I think that they're going to be able to contain Jokic to a certain degree because they do have good bigs and Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. I think it'll be a good series. I'm not sold on Denver. I'm just not. But there's a reason they won 53 games this year, and Minnesota's falling apart, it seems like, on all aspects. Going to be missing Jaden Daniels. I think Anthony Edwards is going to have a big series. So I think it's going to be a really good series. I've got him going to 6, and I've got Denver in 6.
Yeah, I don't like the Nuggets, but I think that this is going to be the Jamal Murray series because, like you said, Rudy Gobert has won multiple Defensive Player of the Years. He will neutralize Joker to an extent, but you can only. I mean, I like Embiid better than him. I think he's a better player, but he's still a phenomenal player. So he's going to get his to a certain extent. I've got the Nuggets in 5. I think that they'll close them out in 5 just because they're deeper. They don't have all the off the court stuff happening around them. The Timberwolves will be able to get in as the 8 seed, despite that. But I don't think they win any more than 1 game.
Austin?
I don't trust the Nuggets, but I'm not as far on them as Andrew is. I I think they lose a couple games into this series, and I think it's just because of size and exactly what you were saying with Gobert being having what 3 defensive players of the years.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
I think he can shut him down a few games, and they can scrap him out. And I think I give it's Denver in 7.
Yeah, I was almost to the point where I was going Denver in 7. It's just I'm not super sold on them, but there's just something like you go to a church gym and you play with like some old men. That's the Denver Nuggets, right? Like they just play old men basketball, but they find a way to beat the 1 seed or the 2 seed every freaking year. But the attrition gets to them at the end of the day. We're gonna jump down to the 4-5 matchup, which I think is going to be really, really fun. I mean, unbelievably fun. The Phoenix Suns, the Los Angeles Clippers. Um, I mean, I think that the Suns are 7-0, maybe 8-0 with KD. There are two big factors that come to the series, if you ask me. Number one is Paul George. Is Paul George going to be able to play in this series? If he's able to play, this thing's going 7, period. End of story. It's going 7. Number two, can KD, Book, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, are they all going to stay healthy throughout a 7-game series? I think there's at least a 40% chance that one of them is going to go down with an injury sometime within that 7-game series. That's why I'm going the Clippers. I think that something's going to happen. It's the Suns. It's literally guys who are known for getting hurt in the biggest moments. Devin Booker with his hamstring issues.
KD in the finals.
Literally, yeah. I mean, yeah. He ruptured his Achilles or something, and then he's literally doing warm-up layups, not even in a freaking layup line, and he just rolls
his ankle. Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I used to just dislike KD, but man, being a lover of basketball, he's so much fun to watch. But there's something different about playoff Kawhi, and that's why I got to go with the Clippers. Give me the Clippers in 7. I think that one of the Phoenix guys is going to miss a game or two, probably D-Book. But yeah, I'm going Clippers in 7.
It's tough. As somebody who used to stand Russell Westbrook, I've been really glad to see him find a home with the Clippers. We saw the other night him, shooting the lights out against the Lakers early in that game. The legendary picture of him making that
that was awesome.
Which was wild.
I didn't get the point of that. I still don't know why he did it, but
I don't know.
It was wild.
I feel like he was very misused with the Lakers.
He was.
Because if you look at his numbers with the Clippers, they're not like very different. It's just that they use them better. They utilize them in the right way.
He's got much better efficiency.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
His efficiency rating is much better.
Yeah.
The guys around him, it's easier to make plays with the guys around him. And, I'd like to see the Clippers win this. You can't count Kawhi out whenever the playoffs start because he's a robot and he's incredibly fun to watch. But I think back a couple of years ago to when KD stepped on that 3-point line when he basically was putting the nets on his back.
Yep.
I know that Austin was very pleased that he has such a big foot. If he stays healthy, then it's the Suns are going to make a deep run, and I want to see that just for basketball, just for competition's sake. I'm going to take the Suns in 7.
I love the Clippers lineup. I used to love watching Russell Westbrook. It was just very entertaining, and he's just a stand in my heart because of it. Not the biggest fan of Kawhi, but that's just also PTSD. So you just gotta.
I get it.
James definitely understands.
So it's just I mean, he's lights out, but I'm gonna give a shout out right now to somebody who listens to the podcast, Jacob out in Phoenix, one of my friends here. I'm going to give it to you. I know you've been stressed about this and he thinks this is his best chance to do it. I'm going Phoenix in 7. I think Durant, watching him, if he stays healthy, like you two both just said, he is deadly in the playoffs. Like he was terrifying to watch go up against your team when he's playing. It's just
for sure.
Scary. It's scary. And if that team's clicking on all cylinders, stays healthy, give me Phoenix. Phoenix in 7. Best series of the whole bracket, though. If I just have to point one out.
Yeah.
Well,
easy.
We might get to that one in the next one, but we'll
next
see.
one too. I really like the next one too. So
Andrew, Phoenix to the Clippers.
This one's hard for me. I'm excited to see if the Westbrook Durant, if that's fully resolved, or you think there's going to be a back and forth moment between them two, because they're
There's
past and
definitely going to
everything.
be at least one back and forth moment between
Yeah.
them.
So I'm excited for it. I think it's definitely going 7 games, and I don't know, man. I don't know if it's because I just really don't want Chris Paul to win one. But I think
Come
I've
to the
got the
dark side over here,
I think I've got the Clippers. I think I got the Clippers in 7.
my guy.
But yeah, I think Durant's gonna definitely he's gonna ball. He's gonna get his. I mean, arguably, one of the top 3 in the league right now. I think that's fair to say. Um, so yeah, I've got the Clippers in 7.
I think the biggest key to that series, in my opinion, is not only the health of the Suns, but it's just Paul George coming back for the main fact of you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, two of the best defenders in probably NBA history, and you have to have somebody who can guard Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. So if you have both of those healthy, I just think that the Clippers are a better defensive team than Phoenix is. That's just my opinion. But KD's going to get his, but he's going to have a hand in his face at all times. Really just
Oh,
depends. If
100%.
if I were to hear tomorrow that Paul George isn't playing in the first round, I'm changing my pick.
Yeah,
But I
no,
think
I'm
this
with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that.
that's kind of up in the air. But we were kind of hinting at the next one, and we have two of our favorite teams, my favorite team and Andrew's favorite team, matching up in the first round. First time in 18 years, the Sacramento Kings have made the playoffs. So the 3 seed had kind of a magical season. Had a historic offensive season, one of the best offensive seasons in the history of the NBA. Also, pretty historically bad defensively. The Golden State Warriors, obviously with all their playoff pedigree and everything, unbelievable at home, but oh my goodness, they had a worse record than the Spurs on the road. Than
Yep.
the Spurs. So this is a matchup of two teams who can really light it up, but have a ton of flaws. I think it all comes down to playoff experience. That's why everything in me says there's no way the Kings beat the Warriors. There's just no way because it's just playoff experience, man. And we don't play defense. You know how many open threes Steph and Clay are going to get? That makes me so nervous. But it's also the fact that we averaged 122 points a game this season. The Kings did. So if anybody can score with the Warriors, isn't it us? So
Yep.
it just in this moment I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But as much as it pains me to say, I got to go Golden State. And I'm going Golden State in 6. Main reason is just the inexperience of the Sacramento Kings. I think this season was everything Sacramento needed, and they're going to be probably a staple in the West as long as De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray play together. But at this moment, Golden State seems to be clicking. This isn't really a road game for them, going from uh, can't think of the city, San Francisco.
Oakland? Or they play in San Francisco now.
Yeah. Yeah. To Sacramento. I mean, they literally can take a bus. They don't have to fly. So it's not really even a road game. So I don't think that's going to affect them. I've got Golden State in 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're a Kings fan, you have to be really excited going forward. They've been irrelevant for a very long time.
Mhm.
Kind of wasted a big chunk of DeMarcus Cousins' career. But, moving forward, lots to be excited about. Young team. Domantas Sabonis, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. He's an all-star, and not a lot of people talk about him unless
Yeah.
you're really, really interested in the league. I feel like if you're the kind of person who does not have a rooting interest in this, like me, um, and you're the kind of person who really enjoyed the NCAA tournament, then you desperately want the Kings to win,
Yeah.
just because it would be fun for parity.
Yeah.
But like you said, a team that's historically bad on defense going up against Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole, it's not a recipe for success. So I agree with you. I have the Warriors in 6. I think that 6th game, for a while, Andrew's going to be sweating it out, thinking it's about to go 7, and it's going to go back to Sacramento, and they're going to have a chance to
Which
light the beam.
their home court
Um,
advantage is crazy. Sacramento fans
yes,
are so
their fans have really brought it, especially after a while when their fans were under a lot of scrutiny for not supporting their team for a whole lot,
yeah.
understandably so. But I think that in the 6th game, the Warriors' playoff experience will prevail, and they'll move on.
I agree.
I think this matchup looks like a Big 12 football
Yeah.
matchup back in the day.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be
This
so
is
much
going to be no defense. Let's just lights out. I mean, you literally have the 3rd best shooter all time in this game. It's crazy.
behind
We've
Ray
now
Allen and
officially-
Clark.
You got it right on the head. We've officially moved her over.
Can we? All right, viewers, if we
Might
could
have
get
further Andrew memes.
applications in for a fourth member here, we might need
gotta
to
have
see
an A
Austin on his way out.
Though. It has to
You have
start
to have
with
an A in your name though, so I can't really bet against the Warriors in this just because of experience. Like they've been
Gosh,
there, they've
dude.
done this, they've won the rings. But I think it'll be an electric shootout here. I'm going Golden State in 7, pulling it off in Sacramento.
All right.
Andrew, I know who you're picking.
Yeah, I've got to go with my heart on this one. It's gonna be very stressful. This is not the matchup I wanted. This Kings team has been fun to watch all year
Hey, let me
long.
tell you something, Andrew. This isn't the matchup I wanted. We were 4-0. We were 4-0 against the Clippers this season. I wanted the Clippers.
Yeah, I would have much rather had that as well for you guys because I didn't want to see this early on in the playoffs. So it's gonna be stressful for me for sure. But I think like you said the defense of the Kings isn't gonna hold up. You can't leave Clay, Steph, or Jordan at this point. You can't leave any of them. And I feel like they're all capable of dropping 40. And I've got the Warriors in 6 as well.
Yeah. I think a really big key to this comes down to like Mike Brown, because I think Mike Brown's a fantastic coach. So can the Kings come up with a decent game plan, not to stop the Warriors, but at least slow them down
Slow
in
'em down.
spurts and keep it a close game? Because Sacramento's shown that if they can have a lead or a tie or a close game going to the fourth quarter, they're one of the more clutch teams. Who knows if that changes in the postseason? Either way, we can all agree it's awesome to see the Kings back in the playoffs, especially
Definitely.
this high up. And I think that they'll become a staple in that position. So we
I
all
hope
have
so.
the same 2-7 matchup, which is Memphis and Los Angeles. Another awesome series. Let's just call it what it is. It's going to be a great series. I see the Lakers. I honestly think if you were to put it in Vegas, I think the Lakers might be a favorite in this series, just the way that these two teams come into this series. But I don't see them as that. I still think that Memphis, they have such a good team. Like it's not just Ja Morant. They're so deep, and they're a big team, which is going to neutralize people like Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura, LeBron, of course. So Memphis is going to put up a heck of a battle against them, but it's still like, to me, it's still LeBron James, and I just see Memphis as a team that kind of gets a little cocky with themselves and
A
thinks,
little.
oh, we're better than a little, we're better than what we are. Plus, can we all not agree that we would love to see Dylan Brooks guarding LeBron James and just getting
Oh, yeah.
posterized? It'd be awesome. But I
Love
think
to see
I
it.
think the Lakers are going to come in with a ton of momentum. They've heard all this flack all season long about how, oh, you have two of the best players in the league, but you're in the play-in tournament. Well, I said it on the last week's Lost Files that I think the Lakers are going to get to the Western Conference Finals. I'm sticking with that. I've got the Lakers winning this one in 6. I just think if you look at their roster now, the seeds don't matter at this point because they're 8 games apart. I think that everything happened before the All-Star break. If you look at the rosters now, I think the Lakers have a better roster. I just think they're a better team. So I've got the Lakers in 6.
Yeah, I think Memphis takes game 1 of this series. I do, just because they're in a good place. FedEx Forum can get really loud. The grit and grind, back in the grit and grind, the Tony Allen days. But I think that winning game 1 is going to bite them in the butt, because I think that whole cocky thing is going to come back. And if there's a guy that you don't want to get overly cocky against, it's
LeBron.
It's LeBron. So I think they win game 1 and then they drop the next 4. I have the Lakers in 5, which is going to set up. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it's going to set up a
Oh yeah. Oh, we know.
fun matchup in the second round with them and the
Can we all
Warriors.
say that Memphis team with Mike Conley and like Zach Randolph and crew was awesome?
They were fun to watch.
I loved watching that team back in the day.
Mike Miller would just randomly get hot.
Yes. Austin, who you got in this one? Memphis and LA.
I don't think you can bet against LeBron. I know that the Memphis lineup is so strong and like it is big, like you were just saying, like they can shut down this team, and you have to think does AD stay healthy through the whole thing?
Yeah. And how focused is he? He's such a mental case. Like he just,
he's an oddball, but I think you just can't bet against LeBron in the playoffs. He can carry this team through it, and I think Lakers in 5. Yeah, 5.
Andy?
Well, I would love to see this be a clean sweep, because Memphis is fine in the West. So I think the Lakers are 2-1, I believe, this season against the Grizzlies, and I think it's gonna. I want to say a sweep, but I know that's just me being greedy on it. So I think I've got the Lakers in 5. I think they'll slip up one, and I hope they win out the rest. Because I just really don't like this Grizzly team. If I'm being honest, I don't like them. But
Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. Would does anything in you want them to beat the Lakers so the Dubs are the ones that send them home?
that would be special. But dude, if they beat the Warriors, oh man, I would be so
Andrew wants
mad.
that pressure of Dylan Brooks, like just.
I think I'd
smiling
honestly,
at the camera.
I'd have a heart
Yeah.
attack. Really, I would.
I'm gonna be honest.
Oh
The
man,
Grizzlies are such a weird anomaly. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see them, like you said, James, lose in 5 games in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the NBA Finals. I just
They could
wouldn't.
make a run. They're streaky.
It's just
Yeah.
weird. But they're just kind of one of those teams that you just, who knows? You just kind of throw your hands up and guess. So we'll jump back to the Eastern Conference real quick. I think we all have the same one here. It's Milwaukee and Cleveland. Again, I love
Wait a
me
minute.
some Donovan.
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. I love me some Donovan Mitchell. But who's going to guard Giannis? Is it going to be Evan Mobley? Because Evan Mobley's like a stick. He's like Giannis was when he came in as a rookie.
Yeah.
Giannis is going to push him around. Are you going to build the wall in front of Giannis?
bully ball.
Yeah, good luck, right? I mean, it's just not going to work. You got Drew Holiday outside and everything. I mean, it's just not going to work, man. Brooke Lopez setting screens. I love this Cleveland team. I think they're heading in the right direction. But they have a lot of young guys around a very big star in Donovan Mitchell. Can they shut down Donovan Mitchell? Probably not. They probably can't. So I think Donovan Mitchell's going to have a couple big games, maybe win them 1, maybe win them 2. But at the end of the day, I got Milwaukee. I'm going in 5.
So when you look at this matchup, like Jordan said, I like Donovan Mitchell. I literally set an alarm to order his first pair of shoes, the Spider-Man edition ones,
I
whenever
know.
they came out. But I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the most physically gifted basketball player in the NBA right now. LeBron is still an absolute stud, but we don't have a whole lot more left of LeBron. Knowing that we have Giannis to kind of carry that mantle to just be that absolute physical specimen is special to know.
For sure.
I can't pick against Giannis. I'm not going to put it past Spida to steal a game, but I can't give him more than that. I got Bucks in 5.
All right.
I'm just, where I'm going to stand on this one. It's the best basketball player in the entire league. Giannis is just going to just dominate like he does every game. You get to watch him just put on a master class. It's just beautiful to watch him play basketball. And when a team tries to shut down Giannis, like you were saying, if they want to try to build the wall in front of him and play bully ball, it's fine because the whole rest of the team just plays so well together as a unit. And I think they might sneak one game out of it, so I'm going Bucks in 5.
Can I just say real quick? I think it's really cool. The one thing about Giannis is obviously he's like this ultra talent. He's unbelievable, but that dude puts in more effort than any NBA player
Dude,
I see. Like
That's
just
what I was
goes
gonna say too.
like a freight train, man. And you have somebody who's that big, that talented,
That's
all of
strong, dude.
plus somebody who puts in that kind of work. I mean,
To
it's
see,
just
to see where he's come from since he got
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
league.
That's what I was gonna bring
That's
up
what
too.
KD. That's what people wanted KD to do.
Yeah.
And
that's.
Giannis
I mean,
has
Anthony
actually done
Davis
it.
sort of did the same thing, but he's not as big as Giannis. So
No way, not even close.
yeah. Andrew, go ahead.
Well, you guys said it all. I've got Giannis he's gonna do his, and he's gonna shine, and I think they could possibly lose one game, but if so, that's it. I wouldn't be surprised with the clean sweep. Giannis is just that special of a talent, and not only talent, like you guys said, hard work, and that's awesome to see. I love to see a guy who's willing to grind, because he could have just been. I mean, look at him how he was in the league. He was KD size. I mean, no knock on KD, but he didn't have the shooting of KD. But
He was probably smaller when he came in.
yeah, and to
tiny.
see like the picture, you guys have seen the picture that went viral there a couple years ago of him holding the weight and just how jacked he got. Dude, it's just he put in the weight or the work, and so I'm happy to see him shine, but I've got the Bucks in 5.
So something else that kind of needs to be noted: Milwaukee's a very well coached team as well. Like I think that's something that kind of flies under the radar. They're very well coached. So I think we all agree. Like love the Cleveland story. I think that just like Sacramento, they're going to become a staple as long as they can keep their kind of core together. They're going to continue to grow. Wouldn't be surprised if they made a run later on. But gentlemen, this is where it gets fun. So we have all of us have the same, the 2 seed Boston Celtics, the 3 seed Philadelphia 76ers. Throughout the entire season, it's been a 3-horse race in the Eastern Conference. I mean, I guess maybe you could throw Brooklyn in back when they still had Kyrie and KD, but not really. It's been Boston, it's been Philadelphia, it's been Milwaukee. This is the series that really everybody, all 3 of those teams, was trying to avoid. Milwaukee got to the point where they were on the other side of the bracket of Boston and Philadelphia. One team separated themselves from everybody else, and so now these 2 teams have to grind it out, and it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've kind of put it on record that I think Jason Tatum's a little overrated. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think he's a fantastic player. But I think he's a little overrated. Also, I question the focus of Jaylen Brown a little bit. There's been speculation about how they kind of tried to trade him whenever they were talking about, was it KD going to Boston? They were trying to package Jaylen Brown in that. And ever since then, it just seems like his focus isn't fully into this. Something in me I love this Philadelphia team. I think Tyrese Maxey could have a big series. And honestly, I look at Boston's roster. Who the hell's going to stop Embiid? Al Horford? Good luck. Good luck. Think Embiid blows up again. Give me Philadelphia in 6. They're going to finish it in Philly. Give me Philly over Boston in 6.
Big fan of that pick.
I bet you are.
I think that you're not taking something into consideration, though, and that's that James Harden is on our roster. And he tends to be cursed. Love James Harden. Love the beard. The Celtics have kind of had our number for the past couple of years. I hate it. I'm not a fan of the Celtics by any means, but I just feel like they're more well-rounded than we are. There's no Tobias Harris in their starting lineup.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think they are more well-rounded, but I just feel like Embiid's really focused. Whenever Doc said that. It's like I think Embiid won the NBA MVP tonight. This was a couple nights ago, maybe 3 games ago or something. And Embiid, the first thing Embiid said was, "We have bigger goals." It's like, we have bigger goals.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
I think he's super focused, like right now. And when Embiid wants to play hard, he plays hard.
And listen, I love that. I love JoJo. He's a man. I think we're going to lose this series. I don't think it's going to be because of Joel.
Yeah.
You said Al Horford. He, for some godforsaken reason, always blows up against us. That night that they said that they thought that he clinched the MVP was when he dropped 52 against the Celtics, and we barely beat them. Jaylen Brown didn't even play.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers got his 1 title with the original Big 3, and we've got Doc and we've got James Harden, and I just don't think that's a recipe for success. I think we make this an interesting series. I think we break my heart, but I have the Celtics in 7.
Now, this is a classic case of James humbling. He's reverse jinxing his own team. I love the energy. I love using reverse jinxes. It's illegal in most of my fantasy leagues to reverse jinx this hard.
I actually don't think he is. I just think he doesn't believe in his team as much as
he never does.
He never does.
Yeah, he believes in Joel Embiid.
You're always on the other side of it. We live with this. This is my partner in crime with all Philadelphia Eagles stuff. So this is like I'm not stressing about something, and he's just like, this is the worst thing in the world. We're gonna lose, and everything sucks. And I'm just like, bro, it's the first quarter. We're 4 minutes into the game. What are you talking about? Like this, I live with this. This is James, and he's reverse jinxing like he does. Give me the Sixers. Give me Joel. Give me that energy. I'm having Sixers in 6. I'm following you on this one. This is not. I don't believe in the Boston team.
I'm just not impressed by Boston lately. I mean, they lost. I think I think they lost both times to the Houston Rockets this year. Like
That's saying something too. This Houston
like
Rockets team is
that's
just
like 1/6
awful.
the Rockets wins or against Boston. Make sense of that, Andrew. What do you got? Philadelphia and Boston.
Um, at the beginning, well, when we first started this, I'm pretty sure I had a prediction of the Celtics and the Suns in the finals, and I think with how Embiid has continued to play this year, I think I'm gonna be wrong on that because I've got the Sixers in 6, just like you guys, and
James absolutely hates this. He loved that one person picked him, but once 3 people picked him, he's like, "Oh, it's over." He's
yeah,
like, "We
he's like,
walk up a loss to Brooklyn in the first round."
He's like, why do you guys have to counteract my reverse jinx? He's like, I had a good thing going. I was using my voodoo doll, and you guys just threw it in the trash.
So you got Philadelphia. How many games, Andy?
6. Got
6.
Philly in 6. Yes,
I
sir.
think if it goes to 7, Boston wins.
I do
It
as
all
well.
comes down to
I
that
think
game in Philadelphia. So
they need to
what I
close
have,
out.
so.
Yep.
Yep. So you have them pretty much neck and neck going into Game 6, and they
Yes, sir.
go on to
Yeah.
Boston. So we'll move on to the Western Conference. I don't know why Andrew has Oklahoma City in the second round, but here we are. We're going to start with Andrew. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder versus Russell Westbrook and his and the Clippers going up against his old team. Probably the most random second round ever, but go ahead. Oklahoma City or the Clippers?
I think the Clippers had a good run so far, but I think it's going to come to a crashing halt. No, I'm just kidding. The Cinderella story has lasted long enough. I've got the Clippers in this one. I think it'll be 5 games. I think especially if Paul George is healthy, and Kawhi's going to play his game. He's a robot. He's not affected by emotion, stress, any of that. So. And then Westbrook, I think he's going to be a key piece for them. I feel like he brings energy, excitement, all that you want on a team. And I hate. I used to hate on him a little bit after the whole big three split up, and I kind of felt bad for him there for a while. It was like after I hated on him, and then I was seeing it from the outside looking in. Everybody else was hating on him there for a while, and the Lakers and everything going on there. So I'm excited to see that he's got a team that seems to use him the right way. So I hope that continues, and I think he's gonna shine, and I've got the Clippers in 5 in that one.
All right, so I am the only other one with a different matchup here. I've got Denver and the Clippers. Again, I think it just falls back on the fact that I really don't believe in Denver. I think the Joker could have a huge series against the Clippers because I guess Zubac would guard him,
Yeah.
but how athletic is Zubac? I don't know. But then I just look at would Jamal Murray really guard Kawhi or Paul George?
No.
That seems like a feast fest for one of them. So I think that it would just be an overmatch. I think really the 4 and the 5 seed, when you go back to Phoenix and the Clippers, are both better than Denver. I would have both of them over Denver, so I've got the Clippers in this. I mean, Denver's going to win some games. They have the home court advantage, so go ahead and give me in 6. Got the Clippers in 6. And
I
then
hate to show my.
James and Austin, you guys have Denver and Phoenix.
So I hate to show my hand here, but Andrew already said it. I too predicted the Celtics and the Suns in the finals, and I'm gonna ride with it. So I'm showing my hand ahead of time. But I have the Suns again for the same reasons that you have the Clippers, because same difference. Is Jamal Murray going to guard Devin Booker or Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
No shot. Just no shot. I think DeAndre Ayton could do a fairly decent job again against the Joker, containing him to a bit. I think it'll be a good series, but I have the Suns in 6.
Austin, you have the same matchup. You got Denver and Phoenix.
My prediction was the Suns in Milwaukee. I'll show my hand here, and I'm just gonna point this out. And I don't think you can bet against the star power of the Suns. I take Durant and Booker over Jokic. Yeah, words. Just I'm riding the Suns. Jokic. I think he got the Suns in 7 over Denver.
So
I just
All right, down to the bottom part of the Western Conference. We all have Golden State versus Los Angeles. Of course, this series would actually, Golden State would get the home court advantage, being the 6th seed over the Lakers' 7 seed. Oh, man. There's one thing we can all agree on. LeBron loves beating Steph Curry, but Steph Curry loves beating LeBron. And so it would be so much fun, this series would be. There's one thing that I sort of lean towards in this series, and it's going to be a key factor really for both teams. It's Anthony Davis. Can Golden State shut down Anthony Davis?
Or at least hurt him, right?
Huh?
Just hurt him.
Well, because LeBron's going to get his, and it's okay. If you go out there and you let LeBron have 28 and 10, it is what it is. But you can't let Anthony Davis go out there and have 35 and 15. You just can't, because you're not going to win. But who does Golden State have that's really going to guard Anthony Davis? Is it going to be like who? I don't know. Tell me.
Gonna be Draymond.
Oh, okay. All right, Draymond Green, who's like 6'8".
He's gonna get thrown out of a couple games, but
go to Anthony Davis, 7 feet tall, has one of the best step backs in the game. Yeah. I just don't see a situation where Golden State can defend against LA. We talked about it whenever Golden State and Sacramento
It's
came
probably
up.
going to hit him in the nuts at least once.
Yeah.
Oh, we all know that'll be a flagrant 3, first ever.
Yeah,
so
sure.
He'll be thrown out for the remainder of the series.
It's just, we talked about it whenever Sacramento and Golden State played, and we said Sacramento is not very good at defense. Golden State really isn't either. Andrew Wiggins would help if he comes back. But Golden State's not going to be able to win games on the road. The Lakers are going to steal one on the road. Give me the Lakers in 7.
Who's this dude? James? Me?
James.
Go ahead. Whoever wants it. Jump on the
Go ahead,
I'll
James.
take it here.
So I think that this is what a lot of people want, to see LeBron and Steph.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like good basketball, this is what like anybody with a partial fan would want to see. Myself, I'd like to see the Lakers win, just to see LeBron making how many more runs does he have left in him? You know, you have to ask yourself that question. But this is the kind of series that Anthony Davis is going to get banged up in. No, Draymond Green is not going to be able to stop Anthony Davis, but Draymond Green is not above playing a little dirty. And that style of play can see AD miss a game or two, and that's the kind of thing that can decide this series. So I have the Dubs. I have them in 7.
Austin, what do you think?
I have Lakers. Lakers in 7. Just gonna throw it out there. I think there's gonna be a long, grueling battle, and I think it's gonna be LeBron on top at the end of it. I think he just carries this team, shows the spirit of him trying to make these final pushes, trying to get another ring. And yeah, I'm going Lakers in 7.
Andrew, you riding your Dubs?
Dude, there's one thing I hate is to see LeBron. I mean, I hate and love it to see LeBron in the playoffs, because, I mean, how many teams can say that though at this point?
It's a different LeBron James when he gets in the playoffs.
I know, dude.
It's odd mode.
To say nobody's scared of LeBron is just blasphemous, because how many, dude? That
Mario Chalmers is a bum.
That was also Mario Chalmers, so you can't really take that too hard.
Yeah, but
literally Mario Chalmers.
If this matchup happens, I mean, I hope it does, and I hope it doesn't at the same time. It's hard to say, because I would love to see it, but again, I'd hate to see it. The Lakers are, I believe, 3-1 to the Warriors this year, so they've got the season matchup locked in. But you know, I think Steph, Clay, and Poole, I think they all get hot at the right time. Draymond's, as much as you guys hate him, he's a force in there, and he's a good morale boost, and he makes you want to fight if you're on his team anyway. Or well, I guess if you're not on his team as well, he makes you want to fight. But yeah. I've got the Warriors. I've got them in 6. I think Steph, Clay, and Poole will all get hot at the right time, and I got them in 6.
Let's just.
I'd like to take this moment and say that Dylan Brooks said that he wanted to be his team's Draymond Green when he was at Oregon, and he is, and you hate him for the same reasons we hate him. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's a fair point.
I hate them both.
No, I saw it for sure.
Let's just call it what it is. The I mean, if the Warriors get hot in the playoffs, they're going to be tough to stop.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of flaws in Golden State this season that
Oh,
makes me believe
definitely.
they might not get hot in the playoffs. So that's why I went LA. So we're on to the Eastern Conference Championship. There's only one guy who disagrees. It's the Philadelphia 76ers fan. He's the only one that doesn't have the 76ers in the Eastern Conference Championship. So we're going to start with you, James. You've got Milwaukee and Boston.
This series happens, I'm rooting for Milwaukee, obviously.
Mm.
My boy, Austin, of course, I want him to be pleased because, God knows the Eagles broke a heart. He deserves to be happy about something. But like I said, months ago, I picked the Celtics to make it.
Yeah, you
do I
showed
think
that's not a profitable move.
Listen, I'm not putting money on it. I'm just trying to be a man of my word.
Sure.
So as a man of my word, I'm going to take the Celtics. I have the Celtics moving on. I think it'll be in 7. It's going to be an incredibly tough series. It's going to be back and forth. I think it'll be about who can win on the opposing team's court first, and I think that win won't happen until Game 7.
Boston over him.
And it'll be Boston. So I have them moving on. Not what I want to see, but I'm trying to channel some of that clairvoyant energy.
Okay. So the rest of us have Philadelphia and Milwaukee. I think that this would be what I would want to see in an NBA Finals because I think the
That's
Eastern
fair.
Conference is so top heavy. I think in my mind these are the 2 best teams in the NBA right now. And
Dude, can I take a second to interrupt? Like, how crazy is it that the East is top heavy right now? Is that not like crazy to
is.
anyone else? Because I mean, just a few years ago, it seems like, and for a long time, the West was was where it was. If you win the West,
but that was the Golden State years. That was the
Yeah,
Golden State.
that's fair.
Whatever.
That's
wins.
fair.
It's so hard for me because this whole show I'm sitting here thinking, man, I got all these like reasons why I think Philadelphia would beat Milwaukee. But then Giannis just keeps popping up in my head. He's like, his Greek little voice is like, hey, beat. And I'm like, yeah. It's so tough. I think Embiid has a big series. I think that Milwaukee is just a very well coached team. They're very, very deep. I think it goes to 7. James gets his heart broken. Probably in overtime, Game 7. Milwaukee takes it. Austin probably showing his butt on the next podcast to James, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun. But I would probably root Philadelphia there again just for a little bit of parity because Philadelphia never really makes it that far in the NBA playoffs. But I just cannot pick against Giannis. I just can't. Give me Milwaukee in 7.
I think you already know where I'm going to line on this one. I ride with my heart hard, and I also am always confident with my heart. So I don't think you can bet against this team. I think there's going to be one of these games in this series where Grayson Allen's going to drop 25. It's really going to piss off James.
Is that the guy you want to root for? I mean, honest to God.
I'm just saying it's going to happen, and you're going to be like, God dang. And just, it's what's going to happen, and the Deer District is going to be pumping. I have Bucks in 5.
Yikes.
Oh, I'm confident. I don't know why I have strong confidence. Oof,
that hurts.
The Eagles would hold the Chiefs to under 13 points in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs had more than that in the first.
I did not know the Sodfather existed. I did not know the Sodfather existed. He didn't. He had something against Hassan Reddick and the boys. I'm just gonna point that out there. Screw that old man, and he never gets a job again working with Sod. He never should work with grass again in his life.
All right, back to basketball. Andrew, after Austin's over here riding the Milwaukee Bucks, what are you going with, Milwaukee or Philly?
I think Embiid's response to the MVP statement that he made was just spot on. I feel like this team has such bigger goals, and if he can tuck his head and be like, if I win this, doesn't matter. I've got a bigger goal ahead, and I think that attitude speaks for itself. I got Philly in 7.
Oh God.
I think if somehow Philadelphia does make it to the NBA Finals, Embiid's already stamped his place into the Hall of Fame, one of the best players of all time. Because what he's done over the past years is incredible as a big man. James hates it because he doesn't like people picking his team. He thinks that if we fly under the radar, which is what my Sacramento Kings are doing. So we're going to have another pod in June when the Kings are in the finals. And I'm be like, yeah. But anyways, so interestingly enough, here we all have different Western Conference Finals. Every single one of us. So I will go first. I have the Battle of LA. I got the Clippers and the Lakers. If you remember, back when I think it was like our first or second podcast, we kind of hinted at who we were going to pick for our NBA Finals.
Mhm.
I had Milwaukee, and I had one other team in there, and they're from Los Angeles. I'll let you know, because both my teams are from Los Angeles. But I think the interesting statistic when it comes to the series, the Clippers have beaten the Lakers 11 consecutive times. 11. This would be a 7-game series that would all happen in the same arena. Like,
That's crazy, actually.
I know it is. And the fact of the matter is, there are times when Anthony Davis doesn't show up. If there's anybody that can guard LeBron James, it's Kawhi Leonard.
Oh yeah,
He's
Dude,
proven that.
I want to
He's
interject
proven
here.
that with the Spurs.
There was a video I'm sure you guys have seen where
yeah.
LeBron was at the free throw line and
Like
the
a
buzzer
very young
sounded.
Kawhi.
Very young Kawhi, yep, back at the Spurs, and he was checking in, and he was like shaking his head. He's like, "No way, not again, dude." I agree. Continue, Jordan. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's what I'm saying. Is like this is going to be a series that the Lakers can only win if they have a huge series from Anthony Davis plus one more.
Yep.
Who's it going to be? Is it going to be D'Angelo Russell? Is it going to be Austin Reeves? No. It's going to be the Clippers. I've got the Clippers in. I got the Clippers in 6. I mean, obviously, home court advantage doesn't matter, really. I mean, I guess ticket sales, sure. But I've got the Clippers in 6. This is what I had forever ago. Clippers v. Bucks in the finals. I'm sticking with it. I'm staying strong. James, you said you got to stay strong to your word. You got to hold true. That's what I'm doing. Give me the Clippers.
Yeah. And I would be rooting. So, and again, love Giannis, but if Russell Westbrook finds his way into the finals again, I would be rooting so heavily for
You
him.
might buy a Clippers Russell Westbrook jersey. It'd be clean.
Wouldn't
That
be
would
out
be
of the
dirty.
question. Especially with that that Los Angeles font that they have.
Yeah, get the one where he's talking smack to Brooks. Get that one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, we got a different Western Conference Finals. James, you have the Phoenix Suns, Golden State Warriors.
Well, I've already said what I was going to do here. You go back to this whole matchup. You've got Clay. Clay is a great defender. We know that he's been their ride or die defender. Steph Curry, great player, not a great defender. You're going to put him on old man Chris Paul probably. Chris Paul.
I'm taking that.
Mid-range.
I'm
You
taking
love
that.
Chris Paul, Andrew.
Listen,
No.
Chris Paul in the playoffs does tend to fall off, but he is a mid-range magician. We saw him doing the little Steph shimmy.
This ain't 2014. This ain't 2014.
Right. But Jordan Poole is not guarding Devin Booker. It's
fair.
not going to happen.
No, that's fair.
Who's the center for the Warriors?
Well-
Who's their 5?
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
DeAndre Ayton is going to win that
Wiggins
matchup too.
Yeah, Ayton's going to cause problems.
Yeah,
Ayton will cause problems.
yeah.
I'm not going to disrespect Steph and Clay, but I have the Suns in 6. And my prediction comes to fruition, and I have the Celtics and the Suns in the finals.
So Austin, we'll throw you up there next. You have Phoenix and the Lakers.
Now, I brought LeBron all the way here. I've rode the LeBron train.
So you carried LeBron to the Western Conference. That's impressive.
I had LeBron on my back. I carried him there.
That's a heavy
He's
man.
a very old man. I brought him all the way there. No, and this is where I turn on him. I made my prediction a few months back. I said the Suns. It was right after the Durant trade, and I said this is their final piece. They're gonna push. They're gonna make it, and I have to ride my truth, just like you boys. And I'm gonna bring my Suns right to face Milwaukee. So here we go.
Good Phoenix. All right. Andrew, you have the Clippers and Golden State. This would be actually a home series for the Clippers.
Yeah, the away games are definitely a worry because, as you guys all know, the Warriors have not been great on the road.
Mm.
But again, I think I hate to do it because I don't want to be so biased, but I think the Warriors get hot at the right time. You know, they're led by the greatest shooter of all time, and you know, Clay can drop 40. Just stop. Just stop.
Caitlin Clark?
You guys
Yeah,
are making
Caitlin
yourself
Clark played for the Warriors.
you guys are making yourself look stupid. But any of those guys, Steph, Clay, Poole, they can all drop 40 if they want to. And they're all about team basketball as well. And I think that's gonna.
Sometimes punching your teammates in the face.
I've got the.
I mean, it happens. Ask Rudy Gobert too.
I've got the Warriors in 7. It'll be a close one, but I got the Warriors in 7.
Well, we're on to the NBA Finals. We all have different NBA Finals. I stayed true to my word. I know James, Austin, you did as well. Andrew, I'm sorry, I have no idea who you picked earlier on. You might be feeling Golden State, but I kind of doubt it because I think you were loyal.
he's
Suns,
not a
Celtics.
man of his word.
Yeah.
Not a man of his word.
So 3 people are loyal, 1 person.
Dude, my heart is coming out, dude. I'm sorry.
So my NBA Finals is Milwaukee and the Clippers. Again, like I said, with LeBron, is there anybody that can guard LeBron? It's Kawhi Leonard. Is there anybody that can guard Giannis? It's Kawhi Leonard. But Giannis is like an artist at drawing fouls. He can't really make his free throws, but I don't think that's the big deal. The big deal is, can he get Kawhi Leonard in foul trouble? Because Kawhi is not only their best defensive option, he's their best offensive option as well. If you can get him in foul trouble, who cares if Giannis makes his free throws or not? Kawhi's going to be sitting out. And the Bucks are way better defensively than the Clippers are. With that being said, I think the Clippers, you have a lot of guys. Kawhi in the finals is obviously going to be unreal. Paul George, who knows what you're going to get out of the finals in him? I don't think he's ever been to one. Same with, well, Russ has been to one, right? So yeah, against LeBron in Miami.
We don't really speak on that one. That one didn't go too well. James Harden played great though.
There was this unbelievable moment that would happen in this NBA Finals. You would have Giannis, who had a historic NBA Finals when they won it. You would have Kawhi when he was with the Raptors, who had a historic NBA Finals. They carried their team on the shoulders. That's what you would see in this NBA Finals between Milwaukee and the Clippers. 2 of the best players in basketball in this situation going head-to-head, who are extremely clutch. But it all comes down to who's the best player in basketball. It's Giannis. It's Giannis. Give me Milwaukee. Give me Milwaukee in 6.
So I had the Celtics and the Suns.
Yep, Boston.
If you go back multiple episodes, you'll see that I picked the Celtics to win it all. And, you know, I've been a man of my word thus far. But I just think it'd be really funny if Chris Paul won a championship because it'd piss Andrew off. So piss on it. Give me the Suns in 7. KD wins Finals MVP.
Bro, y'all see the hate, right? Y'all see the hate. This is ridiculous.
I I have the Celtics winning.
No. It'd be hilarious. It'd be hilarious to see like Chris Paul memes all through the chat. Say Andrew.
He's just like.
Okay, well, I'm gonna skip ahead and I'm gonna go first because second.
Got Philadelphia and Golden State. I guess now you're gonna poop on James because you got his favorite team.
You know,
my team's losing 2 rounds.
This is a love-hate relationship because I'm just trying to show you love, James, because I've got your Sixers beating the Warriors in 6 games. I think Embiid has the perfect season. I think he goes MVP. And I think he goes Finals MVP, and they get that ring. I think this is the year they finally close the deal. And I hate you for it, but I think the Sixers go all the way. I think they ride Embiid.
If they get to face Golden State in the finals, a team who literally had less wins than the San Antonio Spurs on the road, yeah, they'll probably win it. Yeah, they'll probably win it. Yeah. I mean.
You know,
Austin, go ahead. You have Milwaukee and Phoenix. I guess I know where you're going with this.
You might know where I'm going with it, but maybe you don't.
Bucks in 6.
Why do you have to ruin my? I have a whole thing leading up to that. Cut that out, Jared. Cut him out for just a second here. Mute him. Mute what he said right there. So I have it here. I've had the Suns play 21 games. 21 games they've played to the Bucks 14 so far in my little writing here of how I've had it play out. That's a lot. That's a lot to put on Durant and his little baby ankles. That's all I'm going to say on that side of it. And that's a lot of fatigue. You have one of the deepest teams in Milwaukee playing against a team that just played 21 games in a series. As the once great prophet Brandon Jennings said, Bucks in 6. That's just all I have to say on that. I'm gonna be drunk. I'll be in the Deer District. I'll make a nice video. We're gonna put it on the Pod's Instagram. We'll put it on the TikTok. I'm gonna be jumping around people. It's gonna be crazy. And just I'm gonna rip another Giannis jersey, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right, that's awesome. So real quick before, because I think this is the last topic. For some godforsaken reason, we all, you guys have different champions. Me and Austin, we agree. Again, it's getting really annoying. I'm starting to look forward to football season. But I've got it all saved right here. We are going to, every week, we're going to look back at the way the playoffs are going, maybe just a real quick segment to see how our brackets are doing. So I've got everything right here, and I'm going to keep it right here. James, I'll throw it over to you.
All right. Well, guys, this has been a fun one. We're about to enter a very fun period of time starting tomorrow, deep into the summer. And I can't wait. One of the best times of year for sports, NBA playoffs. Really looking forward to it. For everybody that's made it this far, thank you. Always like, subscribe, follow the socials. A2J2 Pod, A2J2 Podcast. If you want to look at a hoodie of a team that's perpetual mediocrity, please look at Jordan on your screen right now.
Right here.
Next week, we will be doing our first edition of the A2J2 NFL mock draft, and we have already broken our picks up. Going to have a lot of fun with that. Really looking forward to it. Going to bring a little bit of style to that podcast next week. I'll just leave you with that.
Be a lot of fun.
Really looking forward to it. Until then, trust the process. Go Birds.
Light the beam.
Bucks in 6.
Go Dubs.